Do you agree with that?
I think, yeah. What do they got? Bench Tretiak, which was terrible for Vladimir Mishkin. And that guy will live in infamy because he gave up and thank God for for Miracle Johnson.
I don't even
Magic
know because I feel like this is your last show. You're going to keep doing, but this is your last show before your final Sports Center.
That's true.
And I feel like I can. I just want to ask you questions the whole time. I think I can get in 50 questions. But I don't know that that's what you want to do. And
I don't know that I have that many great answers.
I didn't say you had great answers. We'll decide in the fifth. All right, here's the first one. All right, take us back to the first radio show I ever did. When the mic was turned on, I couldn't remember my name. 1980 in New Richmond, Wisconsin. All right, and clearly you're way beyond that. You've been a big shot in various other places. Before you got to Sports Center. All right.
Yeah.
And you've done other things. All right. Your first Sports Center, was it done during the day or was it done at night like you did as your...
Yeah. First Sports Center was an overnight.
Okay.
So we went on back. That's when we went on 1 o'clock.
Do you remember the first story you did?
Don't remember the first story. I remember I did the first Sports Center I did with David Lloyd.
Okay.
On one of the old sets. And actually what I remember is a great piece he wrote. And he was talking about, it was the Kings... had the Los Angeles Kings had just had some big dinner, right? And they charged it to the rookies. Okay. And I remember him distinctly using the word scrumptious, which just it's not people don't use a lot. It's a wonderful word. It's just not a word you hear on TV a lot. And I remember David using that. So that's about what I know. And then I do remember getting off because we did 2 hours and it was, by the time I got home, it was like 4 o'clock. And that's when the re-air came on at 6. And I just laid on the couch and set my alarm, and I got up so I could watch it and hear the music. And I'm like, wow, there it is. And,
what'd you think?
I'm on.
How'd you rate yourself?
Did all right.
You didn't say, hey, I need to talk slower. I need to have a different tie. There was no changes as a result of watching you the first time.
No, it's like everything. At least I think. When you think it's great, it's probably not as good, and when you think it's terrible, it wasn't as bad as you thought. And I watched it. I went, okay, that's all right. I don't think I'm going to get a call in the morning from 2149 and be fired. So that was good. And what I was really worried about is that it wasn't so much him. I was worried about guys like Bob Lee and Chris Berman watching it, or Dan Patrick that had done so much to build the show, and then go, hey, who is the Skippy you turned loose on the show last night? We spent a lot of time working on this.
Did you ever think of asking them to watch it, or what? What interaction did you think was appropriate or passed your mind about getting help?
I don't know that I needed help. I just didn't want them to think it's subjective. That's all. You know how it is. It's subjective.
No, I don't.
People that don't like it.
I want to emphasize to you, you're different. I don't think I got in trouble when I filled in at the very beginning when I worked because I questioned something Peter Gammon said. So I get a call and go like from the guy I knew from Milwaukee, what's wrong with you? They're all yelling at you. You questioned Peter Gammons? He said something about Darryl Strawberry that didn't make sense to me. They didn't tell me. Chuck Wilson and then the crazy guy who was on 100 different shows. He was in Philly. He did the show till midnight and then drove to Philly. I'll think of his name. But anyway, I said so they were all mad at me like, why didn't you tell me the rules? I wouldn't have asked Peter Gammons something. Who the hell do you think you are questioning Peter Gammons? He said something that didn't make sense, but he clearly didn't like it because I heard from my friend on Monday. So I don't know. Did they tell you the rules? Did you learn any rules?
No.
That over time you knew I better not do this? Hope you never questioned Peter Gammons.
No, I had a couple. No, actually, most of the time we were encouraged to push back a little.
Oh, okay.
If you had something. I love Chuck Wilson, by the way. He was great when he was around. You have to go in and tell people it was on the 11 o'clock Sports Center.
He felt I talked too much.
So they put you on ESPN News. And so you'd go in there, or I'm on ESPN Sports Center. So you go on ESPN Radio and chat with them. So I always enjoyed going in with him. He was great. It was so different, right? He had this big cart, looked like a library cart rolled in with nothing but stats and papers and newspaper articles in there. Yes, and I borrowed some
of those, and I didn't return them quickly enough.
Nobody. That was kind of the thing back then. Now there was a sort of an improved onboarding process. In my case, you went in, they said hi, and they're like, "Here, start here. This is how the computer system works. It's Tuesday. You're going to be on the air on Friday, and good luck." And there wasn't much of that. So you just went and did it. And the biggest part early was especially when I was on ESPN News, my first shift was 1 to 4. You're used to doing 3.5 minutes, or even if you did a weekend. And
by the way, the other person was Tony Bruno.
Yeah, you're right. Tony was everywhere. Yeah, and you're right, loud for sure. And I just thought, wow, I don't know if I know enough words to fill 3 hours, but you figure it out. And then the only real advice that anybody ever sat down and gave me, sat down real quick. Dan Patrick came up to me after a couple of shows on SportsCenter. I'd done well enough to get on a run on SportsCenter, and Dan took me aside. We were visiting, and he said, "Hey, I just want to tell you something. I think you're doing great, and I think you probably have some staying power, and you'd be great." And he said, "I just think it's better. Anybody can say something funny about every story every time. Pick 3 spots to use stuff and not 14. It's okay to die with one in the bank."
I think that's good advice.
Yeah, he said it's okay to die with one in the bank, or there'll be another game tomorrow or down the month that whatever you think is funny, you'll have another shot at it. And so that's kind of, I've tried to keep that in mind all the time, right? Like I try to think every once in a while that I am funny, but I always think the storyline comes before a punchline. But Dan was like, yeah, just you don't have to, you don't have to fire it machine gun style. Just go ahead and, people remember 3 things. They won't remember 17 things.
And I would say I get the feeling that you never prep any of this stuff. You never think of it ahead of time. It just happens. And so, all right, it happens. Some night it happens 3 times. Some night it happens 6. How do I decide when to stop doing it? Because I was never doing it in the first place. Is that accurate?
I guess. I mean, that's the hardest part of any of it. Whether it's you're doing a radio show or television shows, is just I would like to think people if they ever meet me, they'd go, "Wow, that's the guy that's on TV." That I'm not one person on TV and then I'm here, so that it seems sort of organic that you're just who you are. So yeah, sometimes it comes to you. Sometimes, you wish you have chosen a better spot. But you do it enough, you kind of just learn. You're like, okay, well that fits there, but I don't know if that's the best thing. It's kind of like stats. You need a highlight that's a minute and a half long. It's the same thing. You could put in 15 stats, but people won't remember them all. So what are the 3 good ones that somebody might talk about at the water cooler tomorrow? And so you kind of sort out how it is and what you think is best, whether it's what you say, whether it's a quip, whether it's a statistic, whether it's a piece of trivia that might add in there. And just you kind of learn to measure that and weigh it on the fly and put it in where you think it's best.
All right, who wowed you? Not meeting them, but maybe when you did the highlights. Where you've in any sport, you couldn't believe that person was that good.
In any you sport. Mean as a player or that I worked with?
No, that working. I mean, you're doing a million highlights, and that's part of what you do. And any highlights where you go, I remember when I mean, everybody thinks Jordan, but I think there may be other people where you just see highlights there's no way that person can be that good.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all felt that way about Tiger. I'm with when David Duval, kind of scolded the youngsters who all say, that are like, boy, I'd really like to have seen Tiger in his prime. And Duval was finally like, no, you didn't. You didn't want that. You could not prepare. You were not ready for that. Your game, no matter how good you think you are right now, was not within 100 miles of him. You wanted no part of that. So that was always. I relish getting a chance to do his highlights. I liked when Nolan Ryan pitched because I'm old enough that because even when he's in his 40s, he was out there and he could, he could go. I liked watching Maddox pitch and doing highlights with him. You just had to make sure that those were cut, that the person that put that together wasn't like, just, hey, don't, here's the 3rd strike. Like sometimes show the whole sequence to get his true brilliance when he did that. You're right, though. Jordan was fun to watch when he played. Listen, Patrick Mahomes is fun to watch. Favre was great to put on and see what he was going to do, especially because you just never knew what that was going to be, right? Like you put on Aaron Rodgers, you pretty much know that's going to be touchdown passes. Brett every once in a while would throw one. How many did he throw against the Rams in the playoff game or whatever it was, where he threw 20? I think it was. So those were some of the guys that were always good that you were glad when you got that highlight assigned to you.
When did they start the top 10? Who started that?
I think John Walsh, who was really kind of the whole father of Sports Center to begin with. And that guy's one of the most influential people in my career because he took an interest in me when I was there.
He was brilliant.
Yeah.
It's just hard to, you can't explain.
Yes.
How smart he was.
How smart he is and still how involved he is. When I was considering stepping away, I chatted with John. When I did step away and he's like, what's next? I said, here's what I'm thinking. He's like, how can I help? When we announced publicly that I was going to go back to the University of Missouri yesterday, I had a text from John right away in the morning. I'm here for you. How can I help? So it's hard to explain to people just exactly what he is and who he was. But he's the guy that said, yeah, why don't we do he always says, we spent a ton of Disney's money to figure out people like sports and they like lists. And here's the top 10.
That was the biggest mistake I ever made. I didn't do that many fill-ins, but I was there, and the first time he was at a meeting or something, I said, I just want to bother him the rest of my. I want to be around him and the rest of my every second of every day and just observe how he does stuff. And I didn't think I was important enough to be a pest, so I should have.
Yeah.
He had no idea who I was. Doesn't. But you observe him in 5 minutes. You go, oh my God, this dude's special. Special among special. Say more. Tell me more. Tell us more. Say more.
Yeah.
Tell me what we should do.
And that people. He's hard to quantify. I had to try to write a letter once. They were trying to get him to a certain alumni award, and he was hard to write because you're like, how do you describe? This is a guy you don't see him on air. And for people that never met John, he's literally 5'5", whatever. He's legally blind. He's an albino. Like, he's unmistakable. But he traffics sort of in influence and people and relationships and good ideas. So those are all kind of nebulous things, right?
Whenever he talked, I went, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, what else?
Yeah.
Can you take over my life? This guy's unbelievable. And I didn't even mention the physical aspects you mentioned because it disappears. Yeah. You just get
totally.
Like, I mean, I remember thinking, is he ever going to say something that's really wrong? Or like, I'm going to go, that doesn't make any sense. No, never. And I bet I was interacting with him 15 times maybe.
And he is, like I cherish. He go, let's go to lunch, and I'm like, good. And I'm just not, I'm not a great conversationalist with him because I just want to hear what he has to say.
Yes.
But you know how connected he is when they started the Marquee Network in Chicago. I got a call about fronting that, right? How about that with the Cubs? But as you know, you got to be smart enough in the business to listen. But I called John. I said, John, here we are. I'm in Sports Center. I feel like my place is good, but starting this, what do you know? And he said, can we help? And he goes, well, yeah, we should talk. He goes, I don't know if it's one where I want to call Ricketts right away. Like, that's his first thing is, okay, well, I know the owner. We could start there, but maybe we should go down a level or two. That's just how connected he was. It's just like, well, we could call Ricketts, but I don't know that's the first call we want to make. I'm like, I'm not sure that could be the 10th call I made. And that could be your first one. I don't know. Has anybody written a book?
Has he written a book? Has anybody written a book about him?
But I don't know that there is one, and there should be.
Yes,
you can do one on his Rolodexes.
No, which is, and I don't. I mean, I have to ask that because it could have been a lot of books have been done. I'm not aware of because I haven't read them.
Yeah,
but that one I would read. All right, we'll go to the second quarter. I have like a million other questions for Professor John Anderson, 7-2.5. So you're not doing one tonight. You only have one left, and that's Friday for Sports Center, right?
Friday's it. That's it. Friday. Boom. We're putting a cap on it.
I got a really crazy sports jacket that my dad gave me. You wouldn't wear that the last day, would it? If I sent it to you?
How about this? Would Lindsey Nelson wear it?
Yes. Oh, baby. Oh, yeah. This is Lindsey Nelson special.
Well, then maybe I would.
All right. I'll send you a picture of it. And then I feel like it's none of my business. I'll rethink that. Next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on 94.5 ESPN.
On 94 west through the construction zone, seeing a lot of stop traffic there on 41 south from Howard Avenue to the Zoo Interchange. A lot of slowed traffic. From the Zoo Interchange to the stadium, seeing a lot of stopped traffic on 94 west from downtown Milwaukee just past the stadium interchange. A lot of stop traffic there as well. 43 south from Silver Spring to Capitol Drive, going to be pumping the brakes. Same kind of thing on 43 north from Highland Avenue to Keefe Avenue. Traffic is brought to you by the club at Lac La Belle. The historic course is open to the public 7 days a week. Schedule your tee time today at club@laclabelle.com. A low of 67 tonight, getting up to a high of 80 on Wednesday with some spotty showers. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Jack Brow on 94.5 ESPN.
Whether it's live or in podcast form, you've heard us on air with all of our shenanigans.
Gabe, I'm throwing some. Why are you throwing? I don't want.
Now see your favorite 94.5 ESPN shows streaming on video.
By me, by the way. I hit that microphone like 4 out of 6 times on that.
Subscribe to ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube and get notified when we hit the air live. Plus, you can watch back any second that you miss and see original digital content too. Watch, listen, interact. ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings. Discount liquor. If it's a celebrate or tailgate, when you're gonna recreate upstate. If it's a holiday, birthday, any date, you can save at Discount Liquor.
It's the world's largest music festival, and you'll be there compliments of Discount Liquor. Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor. There is no other party like Summerfest. So get the fun started by stopping in to Discount Liquor. When you buy any one 12-pack of Terrapin Craft Beer or any one 12-pack of new Happy Thursday Spiked Refresher, you will receive one free Summerfest ticket. Visit us at 51st in Oklahoma and Milwaukee and in Barstow and Maine in downtown Waukesha.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings.
See us for your free Summerfest ticket and check out our specials at DiscountLiquorInc.com.
Discount Liquor.
Attention, Wisconsin! Eagle Sports Range is now open, proudly claiming the title of Wisconsin's largest indoor range. Enjoy 40 lanes, unlimited range time, no reservations needed, and an impressive selection of 100 firearm rentals with unlimited swaps. Experience the thrill like never before. Right now, you can text ESPN to 414-375-6030 for a free range pass. That's 414-375-6030. Valid for one person only, expires within 48 hours. Head to eaglesportsrange.com for more info.
Hi, it's John Reitz from Great Midwest Bank, and for most all of us, here's the reality. Life happens, but when those moments occur, 2 words come to mind. Common sense. For nearly 90 years, Great Midwest Bank has made the home buying, building, renovation, and refinancing process straightforward, while too many others overthink and overdo. Our portfolio loans are GMB's not-so-best-kept secret. Apply online at greatmidwestbank.com. Great Midwest Bank, your simply local equal housing lender.
Baseball, grilling, festivals, tan lines, and Saz's. Summer in Wisconsin is the finest, and Saz's Statehouse is the place to be. They've been a Milwaukee staple for almost 50 years, so they know a thing or two about summer fun. Enjoy handcrafted cocktails, festival-famous combo platters on Saz's outdoor patio, or cool off with your friends at their famous round bar. Saz's complimentary shuttles are ready to take you to games and concerts at AmFam Field. Get details at Saz's.com, located at 55th and State. See you at Saz's.
This is the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
Yes, John Anderson, ESPN, a.k.a. 7'2½". He high jump 7'2½". Somebody told me, Professor Anderson, now that you are going to be teaching in the journalism department at Missouri, am I right there?
Correct.
You know how many classes you're going to have?
Probably 2 a semester. Mm-hmm.
Do you have to come
Might
up
be 3, but minimum 2.
You have to come up with the tests and all that kind of stuff too, or does somebody do that for you?
No, we'll get down to how we're going to lay out some of the curriculum and what exactly we're going to do once August hits and I get back from the Olympic Games. But
can I take the class online
I'll have to do all that
if I want to?
I don't know right now if it will be an online offering as well. I don't know if there will be, you can audit the class. I don't know if we'll make it pass fail, but there'll be some things in there that iron out eventually.
Will you be referred to as Professor Anderson, or
I hope not.
you don't want to be Professor Anderson? Okay.
Mr.
right.
Anderson, John Anderson, either one will work.
Now, if at any point you have other things you want to talk about, bring it up because I'm just going to continue.
You know the one thing I want to talk about.
Yeah, Kung Fu Kenny. Because
thank you.
What do you mean? I see him in the 100 meters and I go, my guy John Anderson didn't tell me that this guy is 100 meters because he runs the 200 meters. I see him in the 100 meters. He finishes second. He's going to the Olympics in the 100 meter, and everybody had to be shocked. Not that he isn't capable of it, but he runs the race so seldom, and you didn't tell me. Well,
a little surprising, but no, he's fast in all those. The 200 is a little more of his specialty, but he's been training and working on it. He just had a little injury, a toe injury last year that kind of kept him down from being in there. But he had been aiming, and he had been saying that he was there, and he needed people to believe him. And they looked at Fred Curley, and they looked at Christian Coleman, and they looked like Noah Lyles, and like there's just not a spot for him there. I was hoping he'd get top 4 so he could run on the 4x1 relay, because provided they finally figure out how to get the stick around, there's a gold medal there for him to be had. But he was unbelievable. But yeah, I just thought maybe you were watching, just went, that kid cannot be from Rice Lake. Like, I just wanted you to just continue your disbelief that there's nobody that fast in Rice Lake.
The fact that there's someone that fast from Rice Lake is even bigger than that. When I see you, I realize you did 7, 2.5 in the high jump. Yes. But there's a little more to it. He's not from Rice Lake. I mean, he lives there.
Right. Well, in that case, I'm not from Green Bay. I mean, I was born in Mason City, Iowa.
Should focus. It's an incredible story, and I appreciate you letting me know. And I'm thinking gold. I want Kung Fu Kenny. Gold, 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 gold. I think he could do it. They talk about him, and there seems to be a confidence that he has that he believes he could win a gold in the Olympics. Am I imagining that, or I don't know enough about him?
No, and he could. I mean, because Noah Lyles is that's not his best distance. That's the problem. Noah's best event is the 200, like Bednarik's. And I just think, on their best day, I think Noah Lyles is a little faster. So now he can, I texted him after the race and said, nice job. I'm not going to text him. I think maybe Noah's faster than you the 200.
You texted him after the race? You and Kung Fu Kenny are that close? What more? Tell me more. Did he text you before the race and go 7, 2.5? Does he know that you high jump 7, 2.5?
No.
Oh, come on.
He might, but we talk more about him than the 58-year-old guy, 59-year-old guy. It's way more about him. So,
all right, tell us more. Yeah. Do you text on a regular basis?
No, not a bunch. Usually when there's just a big race and he does well, I like to.
So how did you first interact with him? What was your first connection to someone who could be a legendary track star of the United States?
I forget what meet we were at. But I saw him at one of the meets, and I just said, "Hey, I know you were born in Tulsa. I worked there for many years, and then you moved to Wisconsin, where I grew up." And then I told him that we, at some point, if his schedule's clear, I'd love to have him on our Inside Wisconsin Show podcast. So he came on and did that, along with Zach Zymick, because he went to the University of Wisconsin as well. He's going to go to this 3rd Olympics in the decathlon, which is amazing. Only one other guy in the history of the U.S. has been to 3 Olympics as a decathlete, and now Zach Zymick's going to be there as well. And so we just, text him now and again. We're not, we're not going out for drinks or anything. I just let people know that I'm watching and I'm interested, and that I'm happy when they do well.
Well, he's arguably the greatest sprinter in the history of the state of Wisconsin, right? Right?
Yeah, he's right up there with what? You remember Floyd Hurt? Floyd was from Milwaukee.
Yeah,
for Santa Monica and Texas
Floyd,
A&M.
Nice try, Floyd. Ain't happening. Okay, yeah. Kung Fu Kenny.
I think Kenny's probably more decorated already.
No, he's the fastest in the state, all class 200 and 400, and Division II for 100. Floyd, ain't you no more.
Yeah, he's probably, and he's got,
He's the
got Olympic
greatest
and World
sprinter
Championship
in the
medals.
history of the state of Wisconsin. Unless
I'm just glad you're on board now.
I'm bored of, like, I don't know. Floyd, or did he win has any sprinter from Wisconsin won a medal in the Olympics?
Boy, you'd have to go back. Who's the fellow that was Jesse Owens' best friend that went to Marquette?
Metcalf.
Yes, Ralph Metcalf.
Yeah, he might have won something, yes. Okay.
But he was a Chicagoan. Obviously, he's a Chicagoan. And then went on and was involved in Chicago politics for many years. But, you kind of consider him a hometown guy.
And Kung Fu Kenny has a silver medal from Tokyo, right?
Correct.
Yeah, I didn't know that. What is wrong?
I mean, I know Packers are paying the bills, but we just got to branch out when we have some exceptional
when somebody's
areas.
this good, like everybody knows about Eric Hayden, everybody knows about Bonnie Blair.
Eric Hayden still gets sold short because, like I said, I only have room for one miracle. It was 1980. That was one gold medal. We won 6 as a country. He had the other 5.
The other 5, yes.
We had 6. In the Miracle on Ice.
But everybody knew him nationally. I feel like every show now I have to start with, his name is Kenny Bednarik. He is Kung Fu Kenny. He is the greatest sprinter in the history of the state of Wisconsin, or from Wisconsin, right? You're right. Maybe somebody.
Yeah. And then so the trials are off the next 2 days, but Kenny will be running on a Thursday
for the 200
first round. Friday will be the semis, and then barring an extreme disaster, he'll be there Saturday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Tune in. You got to watch Kenny.
Yeah, the greatest ever. Like that. I'm not overstating it, right? Greatest sprinter in the history of the state of Wisconsin.
We are a state that's more famous track-wise for its distance runners.
Yeah,
we got those stick on the ground, and then of course Pat Matsdorf.
Yeah,
Pat Matsdorf, the high jumper.
If not for
record.
him, you'd be much better known.
Yeah, no, he's
did
rightfully
like
at the top.
7'8" or whatever.
Maybe 7'5 and a half, whatever. But he did great. He was a roller.
I'm gonna go around everywhere I go this week. Do you know who Kenny Bednarik is? There's no way.
Spread the gospel.
And do you think I should say, do you know who Kung Fu Kenny is? It's kind of easier to remember. Which angle should I go? Kung Fu Kenny or Kenny Bednarik?
Like he's known in the circles in the track as Kung Fu Kenny.
Yes.
Right? I don't know that Noah Lyles knows his last name. It's probably a stretch. But got the headband and he's out there. He's ready to go.
He's 25.
He ran 987. You know how fast 987 is? That's just stupid fast.
No, I don't have any idea. There's no way. I'd have to go in a car to know how fast that is. That's what we should do. We should allow people on the car at the track in Tosa so that they can understand how fast Kenny Bednarik is. Actually, what would also be good is let them go around and do a 400 meter in 44 seconds. To see how fast that would be in a car. I got a small car. I got a Scion. They might let me do it. I'd love that idea.
I don't know the exact conversion, but I will tell you this. 987 on the 100 would actually be speeding in a school zone.
Nice. Now we're cooking. Use that. I want to hear that on Friday. I want you to give Kung Fu Kenny. Can you give him a special segment? Say, I know I just got it. You got to give him, I don't know, 60 seconds.
Well, we have a track guy coming on Friday, but he's not. It's not Kenny.
I don't care. You have to talk about Kenny. On my last day, the greatest sprinter in the history of the state of Wisconsin, Kung Fu Kenny. Do it for the Badger State.
Well, I know the Packers signed him. Just tell him to go long.
Yes.
Worked with Bob Hayes.
Excellent point.
He was a very good high school football player.
No, they should sign him. Should they sign him now to create more interest or what?
There you go. There's your poll question. Should the Packers
that's the new president. That's the first thing he should do. But what's the first thing you do? I signed Kung Fu Kenny. Yeah, they would love him right away. Wouldn't that be great if the newest member of the Green Bay Packers is running for a gold medal in the Olympics? Yeah. How great would that be? You're important. You call the pack.
Domofsky, we'll get Domofsky on this. He's probably got a straight line in there. They probably got a red phone that they just use to call Domofsky. They just picks it up.
Right. Like, why not sign him, right? Wouldn't that be cool? He just signed with the Green Bay Packers. He could put a little Packer thing on there. I don't know. Wouldn't Wouldn't you like to see Kenny?
Yeah.
Member of the Green Bay Packers.
They already had a guy in camp that's going to be in the Olympics, a discus thrower.
I know it doesn't.
In the tryout, but it's not as exciting. I know.
No, of course not.
I'm trying to make people. I'm trying to get people engaged. Call Kenny Harrison. He'll tell you how great Kung Fu Kenny is. We got two great Kennys, Kenny Harrison and Kenny Bednarik.
Yeah, I know Kenny Harrison. He holds the state record in the triple jump only because Tony Smith, who might have broken it, got mad at his coach and quit.
I asked Joe Thomas who was the best athlete from his high school, and he said Kenny Harrison. Ever.
Wow. I don't know the standard by which he says that, but that's possible. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, well, that's all. You know me. It's like, what do you want to talk about? I just want to make sure Kenny gets his props, and then everybody watches him. Here the rest
we
of
know
the weekend.
this. You know how he get his props if it was announced tomorrow that Kenny Bednarik has signed with the Green Bay Packers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody would know of him by noon. So talk to your peeps and see if we can get him. They can't be a violation of anything, right? I mean, they signed, people signed one-day contracts.
Well, who was it that with the A's? Wasn't it Charlie Finley? Remember he hired, what was it,
Claudel
or Herb Washington?
Yeah, Herb Washington.
Herb Washington.
Yep.
Never had an at-bat.
And he actually...
104 games, just go and run.
That's correct, yes. Kenny.
Put him on
no
the
one
Brewers.
actually would talk about
Go
the
swipe
Olympics.
a bag.
They talk about, can he play for the Packers? We don't care,
All
just
right.
so he gets attention. All right, coming up, more Kung Fu Kenny. And if you don't want to hear about him, fine, hang up. I don't care. Next.
The Homer Hour is back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
Still some problem areas to keep an eye on. The worst of it, 43 North coming out of Milwaukee and 94 West. On 94 West, you're seeing a lot of stopped traffic from downtown Milwaukee all the way past the stadium interchange. On the other side of that on 94 West, from the zoo interchange to nearly the stadium interchange, a lot of stopped and slowed traffic there as well. Taking a look at 43 North at the ramp from Fond du Lac Avenue, that right shoulder blocked due to a disabled vehicle. On the other side of that, from 43 South from Silver Spring all the way down to Capitol Drive. 894 West through the construction zone, seeing a lot of stop traffic there. Traffic is brought to you by Saz's Baseball Grilling Festival at Saz's. Summer in Wisconsin is the finest, and Saz's Steakhouse is the place to be. Located at 55th and State, Saz's.com. On Wednesday, a high of 80 with some spotty showers. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Jack Grau on 94.5 ESPN.
The Brewers Sunday Fun Day Bundle is your new way to brunch this summer. Get tickets, food, beverages, and parking for up to 15 people, starting at $62. Get yours at brewers.com/funday.
It's ESPN Wisconsin's Brad Nortman here for Carbless, my go-to drink this summer. Handcrafted right here in Wisconsin, Carbless is a ready-to-drink vodka and tequila cocktail. Perfect for hanging out on the patio by the grill, chilling on the lake, or tailgating at the Brewers game. Plus, it's got 0 carbs, 0 sugar, 0 gluten, and just 100 calories. All summer, make sure you're following Carbless on Instagram at Drink Carbless for your chance to win a Summer Bliss prize package. Find Carbless online and at retailers near you. Carbless. Bliss is more.
An ESPN Radio Extra Point with Evan Cohen, Chris Canty, and Michelle Smallman.
If you didn't know Connor McDavid was the best player on the planet and you watched last night for the first time, Connor McDavid was absolutely nowhere to be found. I have a major issue with this. I understand it's been done 6 times, but I do not believe that Connor McDavid should have won the Conn Smythe Trophy. I think Bobrovsky should have. I know how bad they were in terms of the games, 4, 5, and 6, allowing 18 goals total. I get it. But playoff Bob was awesome last night. He's saving pucks without a stick. What are we doing? I hate the fact that we are giving it out to a losing team.
So you have an issue with the construct, not the player? Like you're hating the game, not the player?
McDavid was not good last night. That was not impressive by McDavid last night. Let's be fair.
But he still had a postseason for the ages. Have you gave
What am I
going to
remember, though? I'm just going to remember Game 7.
Lowe's knows owning a project means owning the right tools. And during Craftsman Days, you can save big on what you need from a brand you trust. Get a free Select V20 tool when you buy a Select Battery 2-pack. Plus, get your choice of the V20 string trimmer or leaf blower for only $99. Find these savings and more today. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 7/10 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Hi, I'm Kamiko, the founder of Miko's Hot Chicken. When we started our family restaurant, we were also raising a family. But let me tell you, it wasn't easy. Our Chase Inc. card was there to reward us on all of our business needs. Now we have a thriving location, and we're hungry for more.
With the Chase Inc. Business Unlimited card, you can earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase, so your business can go from here to possible. Chase for Business. Make more with yours. Real business owners compensated for their participation. Cards issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Stay up to date on the Green and Gold all off season. The Green and Gold Fix podcast is brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Luxury stay, elite play, unwind in sophisticated comfort. Win big, dine, and experience the events in Milwaukee. You're listening to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
2, 1. The best 60 minutes of your day. The John Anderson 7-2.5 Homer Hour. And yes, Pebble, tell the professor, because John Anderson will soon be a professor in the journalism school of the highly regarded Missouri Journalism School. I don't know how you become a famous journalism school, but Missouri has one. I think Jim Irwin went there. Syracuse has one. I don't know. Professor Anderson will help us here in a minute. But Pebble, let Professor Anderson know we have done our part for Kung Fu Kenny.
We have. It's our Discount Liquor Twitter poll question for today. Should the Packers sign Kung Fu Kenny Bednarik? Yes, no, or I don't know who he is. Right now, early on in the voting process, 43% say yes, 28% say no, and 29% say I don't know who he is.
I'm not bothered by that. That means we got work to do. We get him signed by the Green Bay Packers, and 99% will know who the hell he is. So, all right. Who's the for your Sports Centers? Your most memorable interview? I don't know how many interviews you do at Sports Center. Is there anyone that stands out?
Oh boy, anybody that stands out while we're on.
All right, I'll go to the next question. Anybody you met the first time you met him?
No, I'll tell you this: the one that stands out is one that didn't go well, and that was with Aaron Rodgers' former girlfriend Danica Patrick.
Huh?
I feel like there's a bunch of them that went well. That was the worst one that ever happened.
Well, clearly it was her fault because it can't be yours. What was the problem?
No, I went back. Thought, what could I have done better? She was just kind of combative from the start. She was not the Danica Patrick that everyone knew by then. She had just gotten into Indy racing for the first time. Like she was going to Indy for the very first time. And I went back. Like maybe I phrased things poorly, but she was very defensive in general about it. It just wasn't. It just wasn't.
Did you ever
great.
interview her at a later date when she was much better?
No, never got back. But just like an example of what it was is remember Janet Guthrie was the first woman to race at Indy, but she literally put together a car with junk parts and that AJ Foyt had left over to make this car. And I sort of had asked her. I was trying to get to the point that like isn't this nice? You have a really good car and you're on a level playing field and you can now see what you're driving. And she was like, so you're telling me if I do well, it's because of the car. And, it was that kind of back and forth combative the whole way. And I'm like, no, not at all. I'm saying that because of the car, you actually might get to show that you're very skilled as opposed to you're in some dog sled and, and how you can't tell if you can drive or not. So that was memorable, but not for any of the reasons you'd,
all right. Now the commercials.
You'd like it to be.
The commercial. You did the one with the alligator guy, sadly has passed away.
Yeah.
Any of those memorable because they're all pretty
good.
Funny. I think who did you write those?
Yeah.
Did people write them for you? It's to me the smartest thing in sports as far as funny that Bob Uecker didn't have a part of. But
yeah, that's true. So most of them are written, but they're written very loosely, and they're written so that the star is the athlete, right? Not
yeah.
you. You don't.
So
have
did he
to
ever
do
tell you
much
to
in
come
that.
down and grab a
so
gator?
that's always helpful.
Did you ask him you'd like to go down and take on a gator?
He did not. What was funny about that is we got done and we did takes and he would wipe out poor Albert the alligator. Like they would have to super glue his teeth back in. The alligator, the mascot, not Steve. And so we're waiting one time as he does that and he goes, "Mate, how am I doing? Because I have to have ACL surgery next week." So the guy was doing it with a torn ACL. He was wiping this alligator out time and time again. So that was always good. The Manning brothers was really kind of fun. Both on screen and off screen.
Okay,
That
so
one I
talk
made
to
up.
us
They
about
just
the
made
Manning brothers for the next 5 minutes. Just talk to us about the Manning brothers.
All right, I'll make that one. I have two. The other one's really good. So the Manning brothers was they're just pretend you're giving a tour, and so I just said dumb stuff like, "Hey, here's the hallway we're in, and this is the one we were going." The fun part about that one was because the whole family was there. Is as you've seen it in the end, Peyton kicks Eli, in the butt, and they move on, and so. The director said, "Okay, now let's do one at the end where Eli kicks Peyton." And both Peyton and Cooper, his brother, said, "No, we're not going to do that." And the guy said, "No, we'll just shoot it once. We'll just see how it looks." And they're like, "No, we don't need to do that one at all." And he said, "Well, what if we did it so Eli did?" And finally they stopped and they said, "You don't understand. Eli doesn't win. He never wins, and he's not going to win today. He's not even going to fake win today between he and his big brothers." And so there was a strict birth order, and Eli stood there and took it. Never once did Eli Manning go, "Oh, come on, let me do it, guys." He just said, "Nope, okay, I'm totally fine with how it was." And they just held him down, and he did not protest in the least. And so they didn't even shoot an alternate take where Eli got the better of Peyton because that just wasn't going to happen.
Wow, now if I ever meet, I want to ask him, what the hell is your problem? I always have thought that Eli is sneaky something like – everybody talks about how great Peyton was, and Eli was on. But are any of them smarter than you think, or is any of them funnier than you think, or just observing them? Other than that stupid family rule, which I can't.
No, they were all really. They were good. They were entertaining. They were. Peyton clearly is the guy that has the most outgoing personality of them. That's it.
But I think Eli's sneaky. I think he's better than it seems. It seems like he doesn't want to be a part of anything. Peyton, you just do everything. But I think
he's loosening up now.
Is he?
So I think when you watch him on the Monday night thing, you can tell he's getting a little more loose. And then the one I did with Maria Sharapova was amazing because they always run long. And I said, "Hey, I got to go sign bank loan papers."
So is she as attractive as you would think?
Ridiculous.
Yeah, I love that.
Yes, she's every bit as beautiful as you would think. Yes. And so you're worried like this is going to be bad. She's going to be snooty. She got a little bowling bag or with a dog in it or whatever. She could not have been nicer. Couldn't have been. And I said, "I've got to go do this." They're running behind and they're like, "Oh, surely Anderson won't walk out on Sharapova." But I had to sign loan papers for the house. And so I tell her and 2:00 comes and I'm like, "I got to go." And they're like, "You're kidding." I'm like, "No, I'm really going to leave." And she's great. I said, "It's down the street. I will be back in 30 minutes. I run down. I sign all these papers. And then the loan officer goes, "Am I taking you away from anything?" I said, "Well, I was having lunch with Maria Sharapova, but it's fine." So now I go back. She's still there. Super delightful. Doesn't get mad. "How's the house? Where is it? Is it, totally excited."
Wow.
And we get that done. And then the next day I actually go to pick up the papers from the loan officer because I just signed them and left. And I brought him a Polaroid that they had shot for continuity of me and Maria Sharapova. And he was like, "Oh, my God." And he bumped up my money market 0.5%.
Yeah.
For tearing me away from lunch with Maria Sharapova.
I actually asked that because my next question is going to be the prettiest female I ever interviewed was Susie Favor. She was a freshman in college at Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I was scared about when I started there because I was afraid I was going to be staring at her. So, I don't know if Maria wins that award for you, but because I never got to interview Maria Sharapova, so I don't know.
Yeah. Susie Favor made a recruiting trip her senior year to Missouri when I was there. So I would have been a sophomore. And I got wind of it. And so I put on an old WIAA shirt I had with Wisconsin on it and ran around the track hoping she'd notice me. She did not, and we didn't meet till about 3 years ago when she was inducted into the college track and field Hall of Fame. So
I remember
she's
her
gone
running
through some stuff, but she's a delightful woman.
Yeah, I remember her running in the state meet. It must have been the 15 or 1600 of it. She was half a lap ahead.
Yeah, she still holds the record, the collegiate record at the NCAA meet in the 800.
Wow.
Doesn't have the college record, but she has the meet record, the NCAA meet record still.
I think we're late. We need to take a break, huh? Is that right, Pebble?
All right.
That's right, Homer.
I'm just getting warmed up. What do we have next hour?
On the tee.
No, I'm just taking over. I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with
keep going.
John Anderson until he drops the mic. I'm out. We'll see if that's next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on 94.5 ESPN.
Hey, it's Gabe Neitzel. Join myself and Stephen Watson every Tuesday night at 6 here on 94.5 ESPN for On the Tee, presented by Wisconsin Golf Trips. Each and every Tuesday, Stephen and I are going to give you the latest in Wisconsin golf, sprinkle in some of the latest in our own golf games, plus talk about professional golf. Get your golf fix each and every Tuesday night at 6 with On the Tee, presented by Wisconsin Golf Trips, right here on 94.5 ESPN, or listen back to the show with Wisconsin On Demand.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor. If it's a celebrate or tailgate when you're gonna recreate upstate. If it's a holiday, birthday, any date, you can save at discount liquor.
It's the world's largest music festival, and you'll be there compliments of Discount Liquor. Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor. There is no other party like Summerfest. Buy any one 15-pack of 16-ounce aluminum bottles of Miller Lite, Coors Light, or Coors Banquet, or any one 12-pack of Vizzy Hard Seltzer and receive one free Summerfest ticket. Visit us at 51st in Oklahoma and Milwaukee and in Barstow and Maine in downtown Waukesha.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings.
See us for your free Summerfest ticket and check out our specials at DiscountLiquorInc.com.
Discount Liquor.
Summer with Saz's. Wonton-wrapped mozzarella sticks, refreshing craft cocktails, crispy sour cream and chive fries, barbecue pulled pork sandwiches, you name it, they've got it. Saz's Steakhouse has been a Milwaukee staple for almost 50 years. So grab your friends and come experience the finest for yourself. Join them on their outdoor patio or pull up a seat at Saz's famous Round Bar. Complimentary shuttles are ready to take you to games and concerts at AmFam Field, located at 55th and State. Learn more at saz's.com.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher, and summer is here. But if you want your parking lots and asphalt to be ready for winter, you have to remember the 3 R's from Johnson & Sons Paving. Reseal every 2 to 3 years. Repair when you see signs of cracking or potholes. And replace if there's constant standing water, buckling, or sinking. Don't scare customers or tenants away because of a bad parking lot. Connect with Johnson & Sons today before minor repairs end up being huge headaches. Schedule an appointment at johnsonsonspaving.com.
It's time for the Ortho ASAP Minute from Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin.
Dr. Daniel Holub from Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin is joining me. Doctor, what makes an OAW surgeon different from most other surgeons?
At Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, we have all fellowship-trained orthopedic specialists. We have all subspecialties of orthopedics covered through our office, so you can see anybody from the tips of your fingers to the tips of your toes and everywhere in between.
So let's say someone is feeling pain and they finally walk into OAW for that first time. Can you take me through that process of what's going to happen next?
We always start with an office appointment, which will involve me conversing with the patient, trying to figure out what's happening, and then a physical exam. And we have on-site x-ray and on-site MRI if we should need to move into diagnostic tests of that sort.
The Ortho ASAP Minute is sponsored by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
It's ESPN Wisconsin's Brad Nortman, here from Kyle Bruston Nortman. The grand opening of the newest Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men in Oak Creek is here. Walk in anytime, 7 days a week. Take advantage of the grand opening special at Lady Jane's. Haircuts are just $20. That's right, a precision haircut. Hot lather, neck shave, and shampoo for just $20. Lady Jane's in Oak Creek on Howell Avenue. Walk in anytime, 7 days a week. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Welcome back to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
We will get back to John Anderson, but I got to do some business. Higher Love Cannabis Company. You know I'm going to tell you how far away it is. Higher Love Cannabis Company, less than an hour from Green Bay, 2 hours and 20 minutes from Milwaukee. Higher Love Cannabis Company, less than an hour from Green Bay, 2 hours and 20 minutes from Milwaukee. They have 7 stores located across the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, including just over the border in Menominee. That would be 18 seconds over the border. Menominee, they have a brick-and-mortar store as well. Enough. Higher Love Cannabis Company, less than an hour from Green Bay, 2 hours and 20 minutes from Milwaukee. Do you have a car, boat, ATV, or motorcycle taking up space and storage in your garage? Consider donating it to Rawhide Youth Services, co-founded in 1965 by Bart and Sherry Starr. Yep, that Bart Starr. Rawhide is a faith-based nonprofit that helps thousands of youth every year, many right here in Milwaukee, overcome trauma, suicidal thoughts, and live better lives. They need vehicle donations, and they've been doing this since 65 when they started. Your vehicle donation can make a difference. Many have. Yours could be the newest. Visit rawhide.org/donate and learn how you can help today. 25 years, right?
On SportsCenter? Yeah.
25 years. And it ends on Friday.
And I have it written down, but it's just like show 4,600 and something.
What are you most proud of what you've done at ESPN? Pretty good.
Most proud of? Let's see. There are a few things, like the fact that we get 10 sick days a year and I haven't used them all yet in 25. Haven't used 10 yet, so that's good. Maybe I should call in on Friday. I feel like I'm happy. I feel like I did the show, which is, it's a hard show. And, that's the biggest thing. I just want people to remember I did the show.
You know what I remember?
You don't have to remember that, booyah or bat from Boomer. Just remember I did the show. Because a lot of people say they did. But they did it, a night or two. I feel like I did the show, and I feel like I did it well. And I guess I'm most proud that I did it as best I could every night. Like I never jaked a show. 4,600 and something, I never jaked one.
Come on, I know people on TV, they used to tip a little bit. And when they come back for the 10 o'clock, hey, come on, you know those people, right?
Nope.
You're smiling now. You don't have to mention
never
names.
Did that. Nope.
Well, I would only add one thing. Of all you did, you need to add, and it was never about me.
Well, I hope, and that's people go like, "When's your next show?" And like, okay, good, but if you tune in, I hope it looks like all the other shows.
Yeah, but you did all those other things, but never once did I ever watch you, and I thought, now this one's kind of about him. No.
Yeah. That's a very kind thing to say, because I tried to feel I tried to never lose sight of the reason people tuned in was to see Brett Favre or Giannis or LeBron or Barry Bonds hit a home run, whatever it was, and that I was great to be a conduit to that, but that's why people tune on.
But no, the truth is easy, and we're in the business. There are some people it's about them, and some are really good about it, and whatever. And then there are other people that you say they're good, but yet it's never about them. There's always a special place for that. And you are aware of some of those people like that it could be about them. They're just not that way, and yet they're really good, and they hold a place.
Yes, I don't want to say. There are people like that, but there are people like that in every business. You know?
Some are better than others.
It's not about the car, it's about me selling you a car. It's not it. It's about the show. That's all it is.
It's not true.
So,
it's about 7-2.5. That's what it's
really
about.
Not about that. It's not about that.
When are you going to appreciate the greatness of 7-2.5? Professor, when are you going to appreciate the greatness of 7-2.5? Not today, I guess.
When it can buy me a cup of coffee, and it hasn't yet.
Yep, I knew there was some salt in there somewhere. It took a while to get to it. Congratulations.
Thank you. You're kind. See you next week.
Next.